daily use of specific cars vary depending on the region. Utes in Australia, K cars in Japan, the sedan in Korea all have a specific target market that slightly differs on how we'd use those cars here. No greater example than the minivan in the US, a soccer mom's car there, a driver-driven executive car here in the Philippines. And I can't help but think that we kind of have the leg up on that comparison, especially when it involves the 2024 Kia Carnival. Why? Let's get down to the so-called bad news first, its price. Whip out the AutoDeal app available on iOS and Android, and it will tell you that this variant, the SX, comes in at 3,368,000 Philippine pesos. Expensive, yes, for the most of us. But for those that are looking for a luxury ride with captain seats, it fits just in the ballpark of other vehicles such as the Santa Fe and perhaps even the Staria. Try our comparo tool and you'll see what it is that exactly I'm going on about. Now, I do understand these are three very different cars from one another, but hang on, I'll get to that a little bit later. The Carnival is powered by a 2.2-liter four-cylinder turbocharged diesel engine that produces 202 horses and 440 Newton-meters of torque, mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, a mix of good and bad traffic inside the city, and I was able to get about 10 kilometers per liter, and on the highway, double that to 20. Full disclosure, however, at no point did I have more than 3 passengers inside the car, so I would take away maybe 1.5 kilometers or 2 highway and city if you have a full complement of passengers. Sleek DRLs corner the front clip and the star map LED headlamps, which are led by the bigger and bolder tiger nose grille with a wide honeycomb pattern. The side boasts power sliding doors and a ground clearance of just 162 millimeters for easy ingress and egress, large windows, repeaters and cameras on your side mirrors for a 360 view, and disc brakes behind all 4 two-tone 19-inch alloy wheels wrapped in 235/55s, which I'm still on the fence about because it somewhat resembles a square peg in a round hole.
But I like it.
Yeah, you would. The Kia logo at the rear can now be found on a panel rather than the lights, leaving the slim and wide rear lamps, which mimic the front clip, by the way, to illuminate almost the entire width of the Carnival. The power tailgate opens to a large cavity when the third row is in play, revealing a whopping 672 liters of space, which is predominantly vertical. When folded, the flat lip and the bed provides an unbelievable 2,785 liters of space, which is more than enough for an array of balikbayan boxes. Kia also claims that this has the largest capacity of cargo space when it comes to minivans in the US. And really, we believe them. The color palette that was selected for this generation of the Kia Carnival is a bit lighter and it's easier on the eyes, as are the 2 large screens that you now have, both your instrument cluster and your infotainment, which are 12 inches, by the way. Regardless of how large they are, I like the fact that they don't supersede the dashboard, impairing your view, which I think is quite smart. There's a good number of toys inside this car for the driver as well. You've got wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, which is great because it's not just for the driver, but it could be for your passengers as well. You have a wireless charger, lots of charging points found up front. You have heated and cooled seats for driver and passenger, a whole suite of advanced driver assist systems with buttons on your steering wheel. That's really nice. The seats are comfortable. You've got a sunroof up above you, which is nice. I like that. And then there's also the biggest change inside this vehicle, which is this panel right here, and it mimics the EV6. This panel right here controls both your air and your audio, and it changes with a mere touch of a screen. And they made this specifically for Jack. It was Kia that called Jack, a Korean company, and said, "Oh, Ayan ha, physical controls. Huwag ka na magreklamo. Demonyo. Now, I know you guys are trying to figure out why aren't we talking about the rear seats? Well, we will. That's actually the main point of this video, and I'd like to do it while we're on the road. So why don't we do that now, quickly talk about how it drives, and show you just exactly how comfortable the rear seats are. But before we do consider subscribing to our channel because we create all of these videos so we can give Earl a colonoscopy. Which would probably explain why you're so full of shit. No matter how you look at it, and you really can't miss it on the road, the Carnival is a very wide car. You're not gonna need to relearn how to drive or anything like that, no. But because of the dimensions of the vehicle, you will need to get accustomed and used to it, especially when you're driving it around the city. And because it's such a wide car, it's not going to be really all that great for the very tight streets of the city. The great thing is that the steering is extremely light, which will make maneuvering and making a 720-point turn really easy. Throttle response and transmission work well. The suspension is tuned so that it's going to be a very comfortable ride. Don't expect this car to turn on a dime. It's not an EV6. I mean, the car does weigh 6,300 pounds. And that weight, well, that weight actually helps a lot for the comfort in the back, which I'm excited to talk about. The third row of the Carnival is much more comfortable than you would expect from a PPV. A lot more comfortable. You can fit 3 passengers in here, obviously better if 2, but if 3 need be for shorter trips inside the city, sure, no problem. 2 seats or 2 people back here, I can see myself going to Tagaytay back here from Metro Manila. No issues whatsoever. And also, the leg room and headroom is quite decent considering that it's a third row, even if the second row were in a position where they're extremely comfortable. It really works out well. You've got some toys back here in the form of air vents for yourselves, map lights even, and bottle holders on either side. Plus, there are also charging points on either side in the form of Type-C. And look at how cute this window shade is. For the third row. So yeah, Tagaytay back here, 2 passengers, sure. 3 passengers, maybe Makati to Makati.
But that's gonna take a while too.
That is gonna take a while, Jack. Now, the second row is really where you want to be at. Business class at its best. Space is amazing, obviously because you have your own seats in captain's chairs, but the gap in between both captain's chairs is so large that you could probably moonwalk your way back to the third row. It's amazing. Comfort, well, obviously it's captain's chairs as I mentioned. The leather is quite nice. The seats are powered, so you can adjust the backrest powered and you can adjust to make the futon come out too, which is really, really nice, and get yourself into a nice, comfortable position. That's cool. It's a mix of power and manual at that, because for you to move the seat on its X and Y axis, that side-to-side motion also allows you to fully recline. So if you're at your widest position, you can be somewhat comfortable, but closer to your sweetheart, so to speak, allows you to fully recline the seats, which is very nice. Now, the toys back here include, check this, not just a moonroof for the rear, but it is a sunroof. I like that. That's pretty awesome. I haven't seen that in a while. A sunroof for the rear? It's been a while. You have your own air vents. Your air controls, air and temperature controls are found on the right-hand side. You have cup holders found in the center with a 12-volt socket. If you need charging points, they are found in the front seats on the side. They're both Type-C for your left and right passengers. You have, obviously, a sunshade, as you can see right here, amidst a very large window. That opens, by the way. And then the coolest thing about this is that, literally the coolest, these seats are not just heated, but they're also cool seats, which, by the way, I must add, in traffic, that is amazing. Now, this is also where most of the negotiation or trying to figure out whether you want this car or not happens. Hear me out. So you may be thinking that let's get ourselves, let's say, a Staria. It's more affordable, the ceiling is much taller, and it's got captain's chairs as well. Sure, that's a good argument. But to counter that, you may also think that you don't want the waftiness of a van. It's a possibility. So you want something a little bit lower, a little bit closer to the ground. Then you have the argument of, let's say, why not get something like the Santa Fe? Now that, in the hybrid version, has captain seats as well, and it's a hybrid, plus it's an all-wheel drive system. Yes, granted, but I'd like to say that although Jack has a review of that car, which you can watch, by the way, the links are somewhere down below, the captain seats of that vehicle, according to Jack himself, are not as good as the captain seats in here. The Carnival is a good combination of a good ride with comfortable interior. It's not tall enough to be wafty, but yet the captain seats are some of the best in its class. Why? Now, although these three cars that I've put together are completely different vehicles, they do have one common thing, a common ground, so to speak, is that during the day in the Philippines, they can be used as driver-driven executive vehicles, while on the weekends, they can be used as large family vehicles. Now, it all really just boils down, which one is right for you? And when I say right for you, I'm not talking about just the driver or the rear passenger, the middle row, because that's where the money is. There are arguments to be made that a van or a crossover would be better. I'm not saying those arguments I'm wrong. I'm just saying that they're right for specific persons or individuals. Much like the argument for a Carnival is perfect for other individuals as well. Look, I'm just saying that at some point in my life, I can totally see myself being driven in a Carnival. I am a clown after all. But seriously, it's just so comfortable inside that given the opportunity, I'm pretty sure a large number of Filipinos would want that as well.